Several world leaders have praised the United States for supporting a waiver of patent protection from COVID-19 vaccines. However, much like pharmaceutical giants, some countries have opposed the idea and said that the patent must remain. Now, Germany is one of the strong opponents that threatens to derail this proposal. German Chancellor Angela Merkel's office said that the protection of intellectual property is a source of innovation and must remain so in the future. However, the country does stand ready to hold talks. German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas has said that the country would join the discussions given the extraordinary situation of the pandemic.
Wir werden uns aber auch an dieser Diskussion beteiligen. Patente auszusetzen in einer solchen Sondersituation. Und wenn das ein Weg ist, der dazu beitragen kann, dass mehr Menschen schneller mit Impfstoffen versorgt werden, dann ist das eine Frage, der wir uns stellen müssen. Denn uns allen geht es darum, diese Pandemie zu beenden. Und das wird nur der Fall sein, wenn alle sicher sind, überall auf der Welt.
Now, the European Union, which was initially against the decision, backed a US proposal to discuss waiving patent protections.
The European Union is also ready to discuss any proposal that address the crisis in an effective and pragmatic manner. And that's why we are ready to discuss how the US proposal for waiver on intellectual property protection for COVID vaccines could help achieve that objective. In the short run, however, we call upon all vaccine-producing countries to allow exports and to avoid measures that disrupt supply chains.
France, Australia, Italy and Russia have supported the move. French President Emmanuel Macron said that he completely favors the opening up of intellectual property, but insisted that a waiver would not solve the problem of access to vaccines. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison called the US decision a great news. Italian Foreign Minister said that it is a very important signal and the world needs free access to vaccine patents. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that his country also supports the decision. India and South Africa had requested the World Trade Organization to waive intellectual property rights on vaccines. More than 100 countries supported the call. Pharmaceutical giants like Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca have not made a comment yet. However, they have been opposing the move. Companies argue that patent waiver is a simple but wrong answer to a complex problem that requires practical solutions. Now, once again, we're being joined by WION correspondent Rachel Silverman. Rachel, thank you so much for staying with us. Now, German Chancellor Angela Merkel's office said that intellectual property is a source of innovation and it should remain so in the future. What does this mean for the waiver of patent proposal as a whole?
Any WTO decision on a waiver would have to be done by consensus. So Germany's opposition is a major obstacle to intellectual property rights on vaccines being suspended. Germany arguing that a waiver would not increase production and has significant implications for vaccine production as a whole. Germany's rationale being that the limiting factors in the production of vaccines are the production capacities and the high quality standards, but not the patents. And while France and other countries have said they're also in favor of lifting the patents, and the head of the European Commission says the bloc is open to debate, some conventional US allies reportedly said privately that they were astonished at the US coming out with a decision, accusing the US of grandstanding by offering crowd-pleasing and simplistic solutions to long-term problems.
All right, Rachel. Also now, that being said, could you just walk us through the implications of waivers and its impact on scaling up production of vaccines? Because, like I mentioned earlier, many believe that this is the wrong answer. Like you just mentioned, this is a simplistic solution, but it is not the correct answer to the problem. And this does not mean that everyone will have access to vaccines.
That's right. A waiver doesn't mean that the vaccine can be produced starting next week, because materials, supplies, know-how needs to be gotten. In normal times, these patents preserve the profits of the multinational companies that make drugs and vaccines, and it makes it illegal for rivals to turn out cheap copycat versions for up to 20 years. But nobody wants cheap copycat versions produced. Amid this pandemic, in which the WHO says no one is safe until everyone is safe, campaigners are saying there is a powerful moral case for ditching them, even if it takes a while to produce the vaccines, with the waivers being gone.
All right, Rachel. Thank you so much for explaining that to us, and thank you for joining us. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.